Welcome back to Sterling TV 19 as we are back here with some boys soccer between the West Deptford Eagles and the Sterling Silver Knights. And this one is a big one, and glad we're starting on time today as we're going to look at the current conditions. About 82 degrees outside, the winds are about 3 miles per hour, 52% humidity, even though it feels like none at all. And it's beautifully sunny outside as we're going to look at the last year's standings in the Colonial Liberty Conference. The opponent today, the West Deptford Eagles, were 8-1 and 17-2 and 3 overall. The Garnets in the conference were 7-3 and 1 and 13-5 and 1 overall. Haddonfield Bulldogs were 6-3 and 1 in the conference and 9-10 and 1 overall. Sterling was 5-5 and 1 and 10 and 8 in the conference. This year, it's a bit of a different story though, because Sterling is top of the class with 3-0 and 0 and 3-0 and 0 in the conference. West Deptford 3-0 and 0 in the conference and 3 and 1 overall. And some of the game notes since 2012. West Deptford leads the matchups 8-7. Sterling last won versus West Deptford September 2023. West Deptford won versus Sterling October 2023. Sterling outscoring opponents 5-2 so far. West Deptford outscoring opponents 9-6, and West Deptford has won 5 of the last 7. So Sterling does have a good one on their hands, as we're going to look at some of the stats. Jason Camardo leading the way, as he should, with that captain's patch on his arm. 3 points, 1 goal, 1 assist. Quentin Rosano falls behind him with 2 points, 2 assists. Connor Maynor, the sophomore, with 2 points and 1 goal. Anthony Ortiz and Carson Wiley both with 2 points and 1 goals. And Wesley Reich with 1 point and 1 assist. And John Bright also has an assist on the season. And Travis Schmid having a really good season so far with 3 games played and 11 saves. As we're going to look on the other side, West Deptford Eagles. Nick Hartman really leads the way here for West Deptford with 13 points, 5 goals, 3 assists. Josh Berner with 4 points, 2 goals, 0 assists. Ryan Cuny, who is not playing today, not active for West Deptford, with 3 points, 1 goals, and 1 assist. Troy Drieger with 2 points, 1 goal, 0 assists. And Riley Urix with 1 goal, or 1 point and 1 assist. And the freshman, Nick Lamparelli, with 3 games played and 17 saves. So we got a good one on our hands today here at Sterling Channel 19. Thanks for joining us. I'm Daniel Leakin, joined by Connor Warrington and Max Zubek. Guys, how are you feeling about the games thus far?
Well, Dan, as I said on the Monday broadcast against Lindenwold, I'm really excited for this game. This could be a division clinching, or later on in the season could go and say this is the one that won either side of the division. As we're looking at the stats there, Nick Hartman for West Deptford, obviously very dominant, so Sterling defense going to have to focus in on him, keep him to be contained today, and I'm looking forward to a good match.
Yeah, it's a game you can't lose for either of these sides. Obviously, both undefeated in the conference thus far. But if you go 3-1 and one goes 4-0, the 4-0 obviously tops thus far, and it's huge for either Sterling or West Deptford to start off 4-0, especially against a conference rival like these are to each other.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, this is, as we've mentioned a couple times now, a big one for both of these teams. Even South Jersey Sports Zone is out here covering the game. West Deptford, coached by Michael Carmoody, doing a great job over there for the Eagles for the past couple of years. And as we mentioned, the Sterling defense was almost a brick wall last game against the Lindenwold Lions, and they're going to have a tough one on their hands with Nick Hartman, 5 goals, 3 assists, 13 points, as we mentioned before. But West Deptford also, with some tough opponents up front, Jason Camardo and Quentin Rosano, that really 1-2 duo for the past couple of seasons is going to give them a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, and Dan, another thing I'm looking at both benches, West Deptford is significantly smaller on the bench side than Sterling. A lot of less guys, and a couple guys that aren't dressed or active for tonight's game, so hopefully that depth will work Sterling's favor.
And the kick is off, and we are ready to go here at Sterling TV 19 on this beautiful day for this big game between two divisional rivals, between the Eagles and Sterling trying to apply that pressure early as Camardo skies it over, trying to find Maynor trying to find Rosano, but West Deptford defense does a really good job. And there will be a foul on the play once possession changes, I'm pretty sure, but I do not think so. Ref was looking for the whistle, didn't get it from the other one. And Camardo has it in the corner. Camardo tries to make a move with the ball, but great defense by West Deptford to keep him out of contention and clear that. That's a nice play by Carson Wiley to hit that one out. So Sterling with the early pressure here in the opening seconds.
Dan, I expect this game to be a lot like Monday's. A lot of physicality between both sides. And it really is going to come down to whoever can play the cleaner game and whoever can work to the offense in their zone. Sterling with Hartman, they're going to have to keep it on the offensive side most of the game.
Obviously, you hope for less calls than Monday's game with Lindenwold. Time went extended quite a while with a lot of calls, and hopefully the cleaner game gets played here this Wednesday.
So West Deptford throw in here. will be thrown in by number 17, Michael Walsh. And it finds the head of Bright John. Bright John with an assist in the game on Monday versus Lindenwold, assisted Anthony Ortiz off of a corner kick and a cross. Quentin Rosano with a really nice play, passes it over to Weitzel. Weitzel back to Rosano. That's a really nice play by both of those guys. Maynard working the defense. Connor Maynard makes a turn, but a nice defensive play by West Deptford as West Deptford turns up and tries to go into the offensive zone.
And Dan, another thing I'm noticing with this big field that Sterling plays their advantage, the dimensions are huge here at Sterling. And Sterling really plays well in the open space, and they're going to have to keep the ball there most of the day tonight, or today.
And they definitely have to win the stamina game, and just as you mentioned, Connor, these dimensions are rather big and one of the biggest in the conference, and they're going to have to be careful. Well, they're going to have to be careful with, one, the physicality, and they're going to have to make sure that their stamina keeps up with West Deptford's, as that was almost a side check to Bright John that got called against West Deptford.
Yeah, Dan, that looked more like a hockey move there, a little into the boards on the side. I'm surprised there was nothing more rewarded there than just a foul.
Yeah, that definitely didn't look.
It definitely looked like.
Is this going in West Deptford's possession?
Getting a free kick for West Deptford.
It's a huge chance for West
This
Deptford.
is a huge chance for West Deptford. Us here at the booth, we thought that was going against. We thought it was going against West Deptford.
100%.
But now, Nick Hartman, real dangerous boot from him. 3 guys stacked on the wall. Hartman crosses it in, looking for a West Deptford head. They find him, but the angle wasn't there, and it gets out of bounds. So a big chance for West Deptford missed. And we're going to look for offsides here, as it did look like it a little bit on this far side over here.
Yeah.
He is definitely a little offsides there, so that goal could have been overturned nevertheless. But nevertheless, it got hit out, and Max Bleen takes it up, but it is tipped by a West Deptford midfielder. But Sterling does keep possession.
Another thing we're going back to in the pregame, Dan, is both these teams, right now Sterling's coming in undefeated. West Deptford with their 1 loss coming last week, first week of the season. This is going to be a game you look down the road and say, this is the one that you want back if you were to be on the losing side of today's game.
Yeah. This is a big one for Sterling because the next game they're going to play against West Deptford is obviously going to be at their house. So if they want to split, the chances of them splitting here at home are much better than splitting at West Deptford.
For sure. I mean, home field advantage, well, we kind of see it as just like a kind of taken for granted that you're playing at home. It's a huge thing to have the fans there.
Are the dimensions of this field. I feel like we mention this almost every broadcast as we're going to take a look at the goalie, Nick Lamparelli, the freshman, doing a really good job this year with 17 saves in 3 games played. But yeah, Max, as I was saying, the dimension of this field for Sterling gives them such a big advantage because of how big it is, and it really is tough for people to keep up after almost 80 minutes of play plus extra time, and Sterling gets that advantage because they play on this field every time they're home.
They practice with pace needed for a field this size. No other team in our conference or playing around in South Jersey soccer does that, and it's huge to our advantage, 100%.
Max Bleen puts a nice move on the defender, creeping in the offensive zone where he's not really familiar with, but kind of gets caught, so he has to work his way back, but good coverage there. That looks like Carson Wiley getting his back as Max Bleen does work inside the offensive zone again. Tries to chip it past the defender, but good box out, but Max Bleen does get it back. Tries to cross it towards the middle, towards Camardo, but a nice scoop by Lamparelli.
Both teams today are going to try to look to find their number 1 playmaker. For Sterling, it's obviously being the captain, Jason Camardo. For West Deptford, it's Nick Hartman. So on both those corners and the crossings, those are the 2 guys that the defense is going to need to be aware of. Camardo having a very good season this year.
And, I mean, these 2 teams are faced with 2 really good senior forward duos between Camardo and Rosano and Hartman and Bruner. They really do have to be careful of both of those guys because both of them are definitely big weapons that the defenses are going to have to prioritize. As a mistake by the West Deptford defense leads into Camardo getting in the offensive zone. Camardo crosses it towards the middle, but it gets past, and Weitzel may have to make a play on this or it's going to go back the other way. Whistle blow. Oh, no, wrong whistle. That was for the Sterling football team practicing across the way. And there's a soccer game that is happening on the turf behind us, which I don't know why we're not there, because I heard the players do like or prefer playing on that turf in terms of the varsity team, but the JV team is over there playing right now against West Deptford. And there's the practice for the football field, and there is the game for the JV, as that is drone worker Johnny Orlino now.
Football getting ready for a Friday matchup with Camden Mastery.
That will be starting at 6 o'clock, being streamed here live on Sterling TV 19. As Sterling now looking for a corner kick, being kicked away by Jesus Blanco when he gets the whistle. Blanco raises the hand, kicks it towards the middle. Looks like he's looking for Bright John in the back. Bright John gets it on net. It's not creeping in, and it creeps in! An early goal from Sterling. Looks like the sophomore Carson Wiley makes it 1-0 for the Knights.
And that's a massive, massive opening statement from the Silver Knights today. Carson Wiley, very good play from the Knights. Take a look here on the corner.
It's a gorgeous cross.
Yeah, Blanco with the cross in. Here it is.
Just a wonderful cross and a great camera angle.
Off the head of John, and Wiley just put enough of the foot on it and got a lucky bounce into the goal there for Sterling.
Blows a kiss to the camera and all the fans at home. Puts Sterling up by 1, and that's a huge goal for Sterling to get the momentum early in this first half with 7 minutes in.
Both these games, Dan, that I've been here to at least cover between Lindenwold and Sterling, Sterling's jumped out to a really early lead. Unfortunately, against Lindenwold, they did give up the other goal to make it, or to let Lindenwold back in it a little bit. Hopefully, Sterling can add one to it before West Everett can get the equalizer. Another look at the goal here off the head of John, and looks like Wiley put a little bit of the foot on it there, but it also looked like just a miscommunication by the West Effort defense that ended up in the back of the net for Sterling.
And it had a little spin on it too, which really made it trickle in, and then that is his second goal in 2 games. The last one being against Lindenwold, the second goal scored, and now the first one here versus West Effort. So Sterling taking an early advantage here in this very heated divisional rival.
I'm sure that's going to be one Lamparelli looks at in the next couple of sessions where he's watching back the mistakes they've made. He's going to look at that one and just kick himself. It's a rough one to let in.
Yeah, especially this early into the contest. But now West Effort looking to get it back as they creep into Sterling offensive zone. As Carson Wiley gets that leading goal.
Now with Sterling being up and how big this game is, you might see a little more defensive pressure from the Knights to keep them back, to keep the ball on their side and not let West Everett creep back into this game here.
It looks like Bleem is taking more of that defensive role. We saw him kind of push forward a little bit during that offensive drive, but he's staying back, working with the defense as Jason Camardo tries to hawk down the ball. Camardo trying to make a play, can't. Tries to find Rosano and also can't, but Dean Collins pushes forward from his usual spot, tries to find Rosano and can't. And now West Effort pushes up off the side. Facing a speedy Bright John, though, he's going to have a tough time getting there. That was a little bit of a push, but no call. And another little push, but the whistle blows. And that ball will be awarded to West Effort. So good defense by Bright John at first, but they're going to get him for that extra little contact.
Felt like a little bit of a receipt from Bright John from earlier.
The first one there definitely looked like it was more of the body-to-body, which is allowed. The second one, you could see the arm extend. They're going to get you every time, especially this close to the net. It's such a dangerous spot here for West Effort.
Bright John, as we mentioned in the broadcast previous to this one, a freak athlete, does track and soccer. So definitely used his speed to catch back up with Delaney, but definitely extended the arm, and that gives West Effort a pretty good opportunity here, down 1. As they cross it in, and it finds the hand of Schmid. Schmid making his first big save of the game thus far.
Very good goalie matchup today between Nick Lamparelli and Travis Schmidt.
Schmid just
does what Travis Schmidt does.
Yeah,
that's the way to say it.
Does what Travis Schmidt does. Thank you, Connor. So Rosano gets this one, hits it off his leg, and is looking for Connor Maynor. Maynor does have a lot of speed on that outside, so definitely someone to look at all the way here, but gets it hit out, and that will be a goal kick. And you can follow us. Oh, no, you can't. But now you can follow us on Twitter or X at Sterling TV 19, and you can see live updates of all the sports games and all the things happening around the castle. So make sure you go follow us on Sterling TV 19. Had a bit of a miscommunication there in the truck. But nevertheless, you should still go follow us on X at Sterling TV 19. So Bright John with the throw-in finds Jesus Blanco. Jesus Blanco, one of the better defensive midfielders in the entire South Jersey area, has a new haircut, but nevertheless, Nick Hartman taking this one one-on-one with Schmid, and Schmid with a nice save. Schmid with a great job making himself look big in the net, stopping Hartman and keeping this game at a 1-0 score.
Very dangerous play there. Miscommunication from Sterling defense lets the #1 scorer.
So we're going to take another look.
Looks like it just hits off of John, and then Collins wasn't able to get back in front of the defender. And it honestly looked like Hartman didn't get his all on that shot there. That was definitely not his best chance he had from there. But nonetheless, great play by Travis Schmidt.
Travis Schmidt making himself look big in the net here in his 3rd starting season for the Knights. Definitely someone they're going to miss a little bit after this season ends because of how dominant he's been. So Anthony Ortiz, a goal scorer from last game against Lindenwold, going to kick this off for the Knights at around midfield.
West Everett's going to send a pair of subs up to the line here.
Seems pretty early for a substitution. You're only 11 minutes in, closing in on 12. But I understand it. You have slightly shorter halves than what regulated in much higher leagues. So you want to get them in and out, get the rotation going, make yourself a little unpredictable to see you're going to be up against.
West Everett's going to sub in number 5, Aiden Zuzalak, and number 10, Riley Hierix on the next stoppage for them.
So this last play, Jesus Blanco fires one on net. Lamparelli has a bit of a problem trying to field it cleanly, but the possession is still awarded to West Deptford. But now Sterling trying to get the ball back here. Sterling still trying to apply this pressure, being up 1, and West Deptford still trying to look for that equalizer after the goal by sophomore Carson Wiley. So the pass to Dean Collins going a little far, but Quentin Rosano makes a nice play with his head to trying to find Camardo, but Camardo can't get to it. Wiley tries to find the middle to Maynor. It gets through. Connor Maynor makes a nice touch, but a little too powerful, and West Deptford has time to recover and clear it out.
And Max, going back to a point you made there about it seems a little early to make a sub, that's exactly what we're talking about with this field. These teams not used to it. Coming here, these guys are already looked a little gassed, and now they have to make a sub, get fresh legs out there. It's a good move by the coach there on West Deptford.
So Camardo moves up the edge, tries to cross it in, but a nice block by West Deptford, and that will lead to an eventual corner kick.
Something I've loved these first 12, 13 minutes is great pace from both of these teams. They've been able to move the ball efficiently, get it past defenses, make chances. Either they secure them and get a goal like earlier or not. But they've been making it. Both teams have been scary on the attack.
So substitution for the Knights as Wesley Reich is coming in for Ethan Weitzel.
Weitzel looks a little banged up coming off the field. Something to look at.
So Sterling ready to take this corner kick. Jesus Blanco, the one, going to send it away.
Big chance here for Sterling to make another statement.
So the whistle blows, the arm goes up, and Jesus Blanco fires it in, but slips a little bit on the way. And that score! It trickles its way, and Anthony Ortiz is coming towards the camera, and we love you too, buddy. It's a 2-0 game.
And this is just huge for the Knights. Just like I said, another statement. Taking a 2-0 lead on the #1 team, competing with them for this conference this year. This is huge.
And Sterling came out ready to play as they take an early 2-0 lead off of a great corner kick by Jesus Blanco. He slips a little bit, but it finds the leg of Anthony Ortiz, just like his last one. And him and Carson Wiley swap goals this game. Anthony Ortiz scored the first, and Carson Wiley scored the second against Lindenwold. But now it's the other way around as Wiley gets the first and Ortiz gets the second. It's 2-0 with almost 15 minutes into this first half.
And you'd like to think 2-0 is really comfortable, but against a team like West Deptford, it's still not enough. You still want to see a couple more, just one more insurance, how early it is in the game, just to help.
So Ortiz says he loves us here at Sterling Channel 19 and loves the people at home as he puts this game and opens the doors wide so far for the Knights. So they're going to make sure they protect this lead throughout the rest of this first half as they try to go deep, but Dean Collins is there to make a nice clearance towards the middle. West Deptford falling early in this game as Sterling is really applying the pressure, doing a great job in both zones, defense and offensive, to really take it to him. It's Camardo and Blanco swap, and Camardo sends it towards Bleep.
And how anticipated this game was for both teams. Even though Sterling's up 2-0, you cannot expect West Deptford. There's a saying in any sport, it's pedal to the metal. You keep pushing the gas. You don't want to let off the gas at all today. If they do, you would let West Deptford get back into this game, and then you'll be finding yourselves in a tie ball game. So the key for Sterling here is to push the tempo, keep staying up on the offensive zone, backing up on defense as they start getting chances and controlling the game. They now have the power to control this game. West Deptford has to play their game now.
Yeah, and like you had said, this is a game that both away and home for both these teams have circled on their calendars. The second they came out, they saw the 2 match weeks they had to play against each other, and they were honed in on making these the ones they win.
As Travis Schmidt makes a nice save, his 3rd save of the game, off of a weak shot from the outside.
West Deptford has had some chances early on, but I really haven't seen any powerful shots or anything that really looks scary to the defense or even to Schmidt.
And Schmidt is one of those people, he doesn't really get phased much, so there's not going to be many shots that are like that. But I do agree, Connor, there has not been many hard, powerful shots coming from West Deptford here in this contest thus far. So about 16 minutes unofficially into this first half. Sterling up by 2 of a result of 2 goals from Carson Wiley and Ant Ortiz.
And Dan, if you're a Sterling fan, this is really the start you could have wished for. I mean, this is great. Like I said, they're up 2-0 here early on against what's supposed to be the team that's going to be competing with them. What's that say for the confidence of these guys going later into this game here?
Well, I think this team is one of the more confident teams that I've seen. I mean, all of these players play with some swag, play with some confidence, and I mean, they definitely were coming in this game knowing the opponent they're going against, knowing how to play, and it's been a really good result so far for the Knights.
And, of course, obviously the physicality is really important in soccer, but if you don't play with confidence, you're not playing the game right. It's something that you need to thrive in any sport, but especially one like soccer, where you need the power, the confidence, be sure of your decisions and your teammates' decisions.
Quentin Rosano a little banged up there on the tangle up in midfield. Something to look at is 2 Sterling speedsters look a little banged up to start. Travis Schmidt with another save there.
Rosano, a big physical forward, has a lot of the tools to be successful past high school. He's a really good player in the box. As Pat Carroll is going to check into this game, probably to sub out Quentin Rosano up front. Pat Carroll, another senior who's on the baseball team, playing that forward position.
Ethan Weitzel will also check in with Pat Carroll, so it's good to see that the injury is not banging him up too much.
The luscious locks of Pat Carroll standing in front of us right now as West Deptford hits that one out, and that'll be a Sterling throw-in. Sterling doing a good job of applying the pressure on the defensive side of the zone so far as Jason Camardo, team captain, and Quentin Rosano and Carson Wiley are going to check out of this game as Pat Carroll and Ethan Weitzel are going to come in. Pat Carroll is number 8. He will be in the forward position here for the Knights as Ethan Weitzel moves into the midfield, still limping a little bit, but definitely has control over the injury and is going to do his best. As we see Pat Carroll on the screen so far, getting an opportunity as Connor Maynor tries to weave his way. Defender falls, but it finds Laparelli. Make sure he gets down on that one quick, and that was a dangerous opportunity for the Knights.
That's a big save for West Deptford there, because if that went in there, that's all the momentum that Sterling has, just puts West Deptford to bed early on.
That's the goalkeeping we've seen from this freshman prior to this game as well. He's very locked down. I was surprised to get seeing us 2 up, up 2 pretty quickly against someone with, what he has.
And good analysis from both of my color commentators, Connor Warrington and first-time color commentator Max Zubak. You guys are doing a great job. I'm glad you guys are on here with me in this beautiful afternoon.
Glad to be here, man. It's great.
So Connor Maynor working on the outside. Possession will be awarded to Sterling. So Sterling looking to throw this one in quick, but Connor, it might take his time. On a second thought, Wesley Reich will throw this one. So the 2 sophomores exchange the ball here. Looking for a new look with Reich.
And in soccer here, Dan, I don't know what the play is for them here, but you can almost get a second corner kick if you have a good enough thrower from that spot. Maybe that's the thought on why Maynard dropped the ball and let Reich do it. Here's a great chance. They had numbers.
Weitzel makes a great defensive play in the midfield using his strength and tries to keep it in, but that ball will be awarded to West Deptford. But that's a great effort from Ethan Weitzel as we're going to watch the replay here. Weitzel bullies balls him off the ball. Weitzel tries to keep it in, but can't. And they battle again as a foul is called on West Deptford. And Ethan Weitzel takes that challenge with number 9, Troy Drager.
Massive plays there, two back-to-back plays by Ethan Weitzel. The first one up here, West Deptford had numbers going back. The defenders were pushed up from the set piece. Great play by him to use his body and control the ball.
Weitzel, a really scrappy, speedy kid. He's going to get in there, and he's going to try and bully ball you off the ball, but use his speed to then be elusive to after he gets it, as we're roughly halfway into this first half. Sterling leads 2-0, the result of the goals from Carson Wiley and Anthony Ortiz. As they're looking for another one here with Camardo. They try and sail him deep. Camardo pushes past, tries to dribble through another defender, but can't. That's good defense there by West Deptford, and West Deptford trying to turn the tide here. But a nice play by Ethan Weitzel as Pat Carroll passes towards Blanco, and Blanco towards Bleem. Bleem cheating a little bit in the offensive zone. Bleem finds Reich. Reich trying to play that corner position, tries to find Maynor. Maynor has a second to dribble it out. Maynor working one-on-one with the defenders. He finds Bleem. Bleem back to Reich. Reich trying to use his speed to get there and force a corner. And he does. So that's good outside work there from that Sterling offense between Max Bleem, Connor Maynor, and Wesley Reich, and that results in another corner kick for Sterling.
And after this corner kick here, it looks like West Effort's going to send 3 subs in. They're going to send number 2, Sawyer Lyons, number 7, Jackson Kuhn, and number 6, Josh Bruner. So West Effort really trying to keep fresh legs out, and maybe this is more of offensive attackmen here. Try to get a goal before halftime.
I mean, it's got to be the goal, right? I mean, you're down 2. You're halfway through the first half. You need something. You need some form of momentum. You just haven't had it.
So the corner gets sent in. As we're going to look at the replay here, they almost bent that one in from the corner spot, which would have been super impressive, but Max Bleem just hits that one out to be saved. As we're going to take another look. We're going to take a look at really how close this actually is. And man, that was a really good shot by Jesus Blanco. Goes a little long as Max Bleem gets subbed out for Carson Wiley here for the Knights. So we're going to take a look at the drone shot by our very own Johnny Orlino. Really get an idea on how close this was, and man, that was almost on the line. It's just a little bit too powerful.
It's mere inches away.
If Sterling had somebody crashing that back post there, that's a goal, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Put a head on it, put a body part on it, anything, that's a goal.
Years prior, we've seen Bright John be that role, but he was in the middle of the mix trying to get a head on it. It's a nice defensive play there by Anthony Ortiz, keeps that one towards the midfield, and Jesus Blanco picks up the dirty work, and he picks it up and tries to find Camardo. Camardo working up as Quentin Rosano getting ready to sub back in. Camardo working around the outside, finds Weitzel. Weitzel tries to kick it out towards Maynor. Maynor trying to use his speed to get there. Sterling really picking up the offensive pressure in this first half and has dominated throughout the start. Maynor working on the outside against the West Deptford defender. Looks like number 4, Kevin Bassett. And he kicks it towards the middle, but that's an easy clearance by West Deptford, but it's not. And Jason Camardo tries to get a shot on net, finds Blanco. Blanco from outside takes a shot. Nice block by the West Deptford defenders. West Deptford doing a good job of keeping this attack at a minimum. Blanco into the inside. Finds Camardo. Camardo from all the way outside, but a little too high. And Quentin Rosano will get subbed in, but a good offensive pressure attack from Sterling.
It's been constant, hasn't it? I mean, it's chance after chance. If you're the defenders in that back line for West Deptford, and even if you're coaching this team, you got to be, no matter how composed you got to look, you got to be a little bit worried if you're out there seeing the attack that's just been a barrage on you this first 23, 24 minutes.
It sure has, and Sterling just subbed in Quentin Rosano to get him back on the field, and they're going to send sophomore George Walters, who's been playing some good minutes, Dan, since we've been out here, and Max, since Monday. He's been playing some good minutes as a sophomore, and he's replacing another sophomore, Connor Maynor, here.
And George Walters had a few fouls on Monday against Lindenwold, extending the arm a little bit too much, so hopefully he cleans that up on this attacker spot with Pat Carroll opposite of him. So it finds Rosano. Rosano gets a bit of a hard touch on it, and West Deptford retrieves the ball. Trying to dribble his way around Quentin Rosano, but a nice play by Weitzel kicks it back towards midfield. West Deptford trying to reset, but kicks it forward to number 2, Sawyer Lyons. Lyons kicks it back. The touch was a little hard, but it does find Delaney on the outside. Delaney tries to put a move on Bright John. That's a matchup that's been happening since the start of this game. Trying to force it out, trying to kick it over Bright John as the ball stays in, and Bright John prevails that one, but Blanco can't kick it past it. And Collins tries to kick it out, but it was not hard enough. So this gives West Deptford an advantage on the throw-in.
Caleb, put it down, put it down, put it down. Out, throw it in.
It's a shot at number 23, Caleb Delaney right there. That is a baseball player for the West Deptford Eagles as well. So they also, Dan, as we were talking about the other day, but all these teams in soccer, you really see multi-athletes playing for both sides.
As the ball gets thrown in, and West Deptford trying to pick up the offense here. One of the first times we've seen them really apply offense to the Sterling defense, but a whistle changes that fact, and it will be a free kick for Sterling.
Sterling's really controlled the pace of the tempo today, and they're really pushing up. They're not letting many opportunities down on the defensive side. Really, West Deptford has been in our half most of this first half.
And one thing that's been really interesting is how Sterling has limited Nick Hartman, who has 5 goals on the season, 13 points, how they've really limited him from getting the ball, and it's been really impressive how they've only limited him to about 2 shots that weren't very powerful, and Schmidt has had a relatively easy time in net so far in this game.
Well, both teams, you do your scouting before coming into any sporting game, and you look and you see Camardo for Sterling and Hartman for West Deptford, and if you're defending and you're putting defenders on guys, you're obviously telling them to put more attention on those guys, and that's why for Sterling, I think Wiley was open on the one, and I think that's the same reason Ortiz got in there. They had more bodies on Camardo trying to prevent him.
It's a nice sliding kick out of bounds by Jesus Blanco, really a defensive menace in that midfield, but also does a lot of work on the offensive side of the ball as well, as that one is awarded to Sterling, that throw-in. As a sub comes in for Pat Carroll, it is the other senior captain, Jason Camardo.
Something I think that a lot of teams, and not just West Deptford this year, has and then will be continue to be overlooked, is its constant defense. It's not just the back four doing all the defensive work. The midfield is scrappy and getting at the ball. You got to fight through so much to get to the brick wall that is Schmidt in the net anyway. So it's hard to score against a team with the composure on defense and on attacking that Sterling has.
That one gets kicked out of bounds. It is awarded to Sterling. And still that defense doing a great job of not allowing any chances to West Deptford here, as we're about almost 27 minutes unofficially into this first half, as we're looking at a quick look at the standings. Sterling 3-0, 3-0 in the conference and normally, and West Deptford 3-0 in the conference, but 3-1 overall. Lindenwold 1-2 and 2-2 overall, and the rest goes as follows.
Get up on the side.
So Lindenwold is who Sterling defeated on Monday, which was a huge game in terms of conference play, and this is another big one for the Knights. As we mentioned before, it is getting covered on the South Jersey Sports Zone page, according to Connor Warrington. So Max being a little frustrated with himself after he kicks that one out. Not looking like that's what he wanted to do. So substitution comes in for Delaney. That would be...
And Dan, much like Lindenwold and Sterling Monday, this is you look at the series, it's 3-2 West Deptford right now, so they've played each other evenly coming into this game. And I do remember a couple years ago, I believe it was 2022, we actually shared the conference with West Deptford before, and it came back to one of these games where West Deptford beat us at their place, we beat them at our place. And that's exactly what we were talking about, how big this game really is.
I mean, where the series, left off, it was a West Deptford win, and it was a thrashing of Sterling. 4-0 win. It's something you got to come into this game going, that's their last impression of us. Let's make the lasting impression that we're winners against them.
And that's a great quote there from Max Zubak, definitely describing how Sterling's feeling about this one, as Travis Schmid makes a nice grab and falls to the ground. And really, it's really tough to get something on Schmid, how good he is. He's really good with his hands and is really smart in the net. Doesn't make many mistakes often. This was a mistake in the Sterling backline as West Deptford keeps this one going. So there was a bee that kind of swarmed us here on the announcers table. Connor and I got a little scared. We got to move back for a minute. Nevertheless, soccer still continues. As that one's hit out by West Deptford, it will be Sterling ball.
Unofficially about 12 minutes to go, 11 minutes to go in this one for the first half. And same thing we've been talking about. Sterling, again, is up on the offensive side, pushing up, trying to have aggressive. No doubt that was in Coach Pete Marley's game plan for today is offense.
Well, we're aware from last game, according to a couple of the players and Pete Marley's themselves, they weren't happy how they controlled the game, especially towards the end, and really not happy with the aggression. I think that he was too happy that they were too comfortable and relaxed, and that's really what caused a lot of the problems towards the end and fouling. But now it looks like Sterling is still putting on the aggressive, and as you said, Connor, pedal to the metal, and that is what's most important.
Well, Dan, I'll agree with Coach Marley's there on the Lindenwold game. That second half, they were in our zone. I don't know what the numbers were, but it could have been well over 15 minutes of possession in our own zone during that half. And that's why they had the goal early on in the second half. I think we came out with the 2-0 lead, same thing we have here, and we let them get back into it. So that's something Sterling cannot do today, and I think that's something Coach Marley's will be looking at.
And the thing with, being too comfortable, obviously something they had to look at, post Monday and all yesterday going into this one. Something that I find, if you're too comfortable in your game, you're not going to score from the couch or in the comfort of your own home. You got to be in there. You got to be fighting for the win. You can't take your foot off the gas and slow down, because that's when they speed right past you.
West Deptford sub coming in here is number 9, Troy Drager. Subbing out for Sterling will be George Walters, and coming out for West Deptford will be Jackson Kuhn.
I have to say, Max, you are doing a ridiculously good job for your first game. I was a little scared, and I know Connor wasn't there on our first games, and you're doing a really good job of being very knowledgeable of the game, and we appreciate that you're here.
My first game was, I did one drive of the Haddon Heights for Sterling football game here, and I get on the mic, and there was a 55-yard kickoff return touchdown. I said, oh, I'm the jinx.
How do you even call that? Get in there like, oh, man.
Well, the score was about 30-0 at that point.
So the game plays on, and this one is fortunately not 30-0. It's 2-0 in Sterling's favor. After 2 goals, just in case you're tuning in, from Carson Wiley and Anthony Ortiz, and thank you all for tuning in especially. I'm Daniel Leakin, joined by Connor Warrington and Max Zubak here in the booth with about 9 minutes to play unofficially in this first half so far. Sterling has really controlled the pace so far, but West Deptford, as in the past couple of minutes, have done a good job of keeping the ball away from Sterling's playmakers. But Sterling's speed right now is really prevailing, and you can see that right there with Wesley Reich really putting the pressure on West Deptford as offsides is called.
It's really felt like Sterling's trying to expand the field, get as much stretch as they can defensively, offensively, kick the ball through and in, and it's already happened twice. If you keep up this way with this much energy, obviously it's a lot on such a large field, but that's where they practice, and that's their advantage, like we had said some minutes ago. It's just a matter of keeping that pace, keeping that intensity, and you're going to score again and again, outbeating them on things like that.
Rosano trying to use his length to beat the defender, number 4, Kevin Bassett, who's really had his work cut out for him on that side, going against Rosano, and earlier going against Connor Maynard. We're going to take another look at it here. Rosano not one of the fastest, but he definitely has that long extension, definitely one of the biggest, and he is really, really good when he gets to use his size to his advantage.
He may be the biggest, I think,
yeah,
on this team. And that plays, like I was talking about Mike Berkeley, he's playing a Mike Berkeley role. That really plays, and that was part of the reason a couple years ago Mike Berkeley was so successful. He had speed and he also had size, and he used it. He got to the top of the key ball, or excuse me, the top of the net balls, and balls that really landed on our side of the 50. Mike Berkeley was winning headers, and that's exactly what you see Quentin Rosano doing today.
When you're able to balance size and speed, and you make a mixture of those two skills that you've honed in on yourself, it's hard to beat something like that. It's hard to beat a monster you create out of the speed, the strength, and the size, the big 3 of, I guess, S's and adjectives when it comes to this sport. But it's hard work to get there, and when you get there at that peak of knowing yourself and how to play the game, it's tough to leave it behind. Phenomenal stop.
Yeah, that was a really great stop by Sterling's defenseman, especially Travis Schmidt on the outside, going against Nick Hartman, who got a really good shot on net. But Travis Schmidt extends the arm, and that's a really highlight reel for the people at home, as what a save by Travis Schmidt.
College football fan there, Dan?
That's where I got that from. I was trying to think of why I kept saying Sam Hartman, but I guess that makes a little bit more sense.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, is these miscommunications by the defense. You cannot let Hartman get a foot on the ball that close to the keeper. Beautiful play by Travis Schmidt. Keep Sterling and keep West Deptford off the board.
And I definitely think Coach Marley just letting him hear about it. There's been a couple of defensive miscommunications, very minor, but turned into very major events. But Travis Schmidt stands on his head and does a great job of saving that one. And this one is still at a 2-0, but this definitely could have been 2-1 very quickly.
And the way it's going, how it's 2-0, unofficially about 5 minutes to go in the first half here. That goal would have given a lot of momentum going into halftime to West Deptford. So big play by Travis Schmidt, standing his own in the net, keeping them off the board and keeping all momentum in favor of the Knights.
And then, like you had said about, minor mistakes on defense causing major issues, you're going to, if you leave a hole there for them to get through, it's going to be able to fit a person through there, and they're going to be able to take advantage of that no matter, where it is. If someone's there with the ball and you're loosening up on that, it's something you can't do, especially this late. They go into the half with momentum. If they capitalize on something like that, what they've been struggling to do, but they do it once, and you feel as though it's gone. You're drained from a mistake like that. It's rough.
And I think soccer is one of those sports where if you lose that momentum, it's one of the hardest to get back, because of the lack of scoring and the lack of offense at times. It's a lot of passing and stuff like that. So really the only ways you can get it back is if you get one in the back of the net or if you can get a really good chance. So losing that going into the second half, being at that point you would only be up 1 is very dangerous for the Knights. But a great save by Travis Schmidt to try and regenerate this Sterling defense that has let a little bit go by in the past couple of minutes. So we're about 5 minutes unofficially left in this first half. Sterling still winning 2-0 over the West Deptford Eagles in this very heated division rival game. and definitely one of the games for the season for the Knights.
Yeah, that was a great point about how soccer's so hard to get the momentum back. You think of basketball, teams go on scoring runs, the other teams come right back when they're scoring. You think of football, somebody goes down, scores on you, you go back, score on them, momentum stays the same until somebody finally takes over. Soccer, it's really one-sided throughout most of the game. If you're playing from behind in soccer, that's not a good thing. Momentum is not going to be anywhere near your favor.
And Jesus Blanco makes a man miss. Jesus Blanco trying to get into a shooting lane, but passes it towards the outside. And we missed a good job by Jason Camardo to try and waste time in the corner and find what he really wanted, which was a crosser into the middle towards Rosano, trying to get Rosano to use his size a little bit as Reich skies it towards the middle, towards Carson Wiley.
I think after
Camardo could not get to it.
Initial 20 minutes in, there was a lot of good crossing in, getting into the box from both of these offenses. It seems rougher, but honestly, you're losing pace, you're getting a little gassed as you keep on playing, but getting into the box was key, always will be. Keeping that pace is key, always will be. Keeping your space and your passes always will be. The space, the passing, it's all been okay, but I feel like the box has kind of been a little weaker on both these attacking sides.
Something else to note, it is 82 degrees out here in this September afternoon. It definitely is hot, not from where we are, but from where they are. Definitely a little hotter as Sterling trying to get back into the offensive zone as Rosano crosses it in towards Maynor. Finds Camardo, and Maynor has him in the ball and grass to go. Maynor tries to get past the defense, makes a move. Maynor one-on-one takes a shot and does not get it in as it goes high over the post. But that's a good attempt by Sterling's offense to try and get one more before the end of this half. There's a nice play by Maynor as there will be a substitution in for the Knights as George Walters is going to be coming back into this contest. He will be subbing out Connor Maynor, who just made that shot. And a good attempt down the field. Starting from about midfield, it's really impressive. A lot of these younger kids on Sterling, and even some of the older veterans like Jason Camardo, their bursts of speed are absolutely insane. And I think that's, just great conditioning from Coach Marley's and just pure athleticism from the Knights.
Especially if you're doing conditioning and stuff on a field that's larger than the average, you're going to be, you're going to excel in things like that because you have that type of advantage. You've been training on something that's more than you're supposed to be, standard with.
Yeah. There's a nice clearance by Dean Collins. He does get a little banged up on the play, looking for a help up. Nice sportsmanship by Caleb Delaney there to help him up. And that was a good play in the midfield here by Max Bleen to kind of disrupt the momentum that Delaney was taking down the field. But it is a throw for West Deptford, trying to get one of their best throwers over in that side of the field, as it'll be number 19, Carter Watson, to throw this one for West Deptford. Steps on the field, hockey field, almost trips over one of our wires here at Sterling TV 19. As Wesley tries to clear, Wesley Reich tries to clear, doesn't. Still kind of getting bobbled up in the head, kind of playing pinball, but finally cleared. So that was a nice clear by Sterling. Trickles back into the West Deptford defense for them to try and regroup. So we're nearing the last minute here in this first half unofficially. Haven't been many stoppages though, so we should be pretty on point with our assumption.
It's total contrast from Monday. It was foul after foul, card after card. This has been, a little shoving here and there. That's normal for the sport. It's been pretty clean, pretty even, and hopefully that stays that way because we don't want another extra 20, 25-minute game, especially in this heat. It's going to be rough. You sweat standing out here, okay? You don't have to do anything to be just drenched.
Dean Collins sends that one deep. And Sterling playing very lax to end this first half, just trying to probably make sure nothing gets to Travis Schmid for the remainder.
I would expect a lot of defense this last 30 seconds here. A lot of everybody just sitting down in the midfield, keeping it in our zone here. I wouldn't expect any progressions or any aggressive pushes up by Sterling here.
A lot of pressing and clearing. That's what I'd figure.
Just a reminder, our next TV game will be on Friday. It'll be a football game against Camden Mastery starting at around 6 p.m. Sterling looking to pick up their first win of the season after starting 0-2, falling to Bishop Eustace and Pittman on the road.
A couple roster changes coming after a couple unfortunate injuries last game.
Yes.
So we'll see how the new look offense looks.
Yeah, we'll get to that on Friday, but right now we have a soccer game to cover. As Coach a little upset with that one, and it did look like they didn't play the ball, but Jason Camardo looking to trample past his defender. Jason Camardo going for one last shot. He scores! What a screamer from Jason Camardo. Gives Sterling their third goal of the game and their third goal before the end of this first half. It's 3-0.
I know there were complaints about, not being a penalty there about playing on the ball, but it seems like Camardo was playing on the ball just fine as he gets into the box, makes it 3-0 before the half.
as they do a little dancey dance. Well deserved to celebrate that one, as that was a great shot by Jason Camardo, as we're going to look at the whole play. So they're saying he didn't play the ball, and honestly, he didn't play the ball, but it looked like West Deptford clipped him from behind and not the other way around, as they send it down deep for Jason Camardo, and just a wonderful shot by Camardo using his veterancy, and that's someone you got to keep a tab on at all times. And Jason Camardo, he scores his 3rd of the season.
And Dan, that is exactly what I was talking about. Sterling needed, they were waiting for their chance. They couldn't put extra bodies on Camardo. It was a one-on-one, and he uses his speed, and now they're going to be coming after him after that celebration, as you see right here, a couple pushes from behind. But Jason Camardo, man, what a player for this Sterling team that he's turned out to be this year. He's really stepped into his captaincy. He's got 3 goals, leads the team, and that goal right there, I don't want to say he takes the entire energy out of West Deptford, but any hope they had coming in this halftime is all gone.
Definitely depletes them a little bit, I do agree, as there will be a corner kick here awarded for Sterling, and Connor Warrington will take the analysis on this one.
So Ortiz kicks it up the field, and Camardo gets a foot on it here. You hear teammates say, take it yourself, Jay. Here he goes to the outside with it, beats the defender, and a beautiful shot that the goalie had just no chance of getting to.
And a corner kick here from Jesus Blanco, getting sent into the box, tries to find a head of a night, and doesn't. And that one will trickle out of bounds, as that will be the official end of a very successful first half for Sterling after that corner kick from Jesus Blanco. And I mean, wow, Sterling with absolutely electric first half.
That is exactly what you needed if you were the Knights. Coming into this game, how matched these teams are. They gave West Deptford nothing to talk. And if you look at West Deptford's sideline right now, depletion is the word Dan used. Sterling sidelines is static. They're energetic, going into half with all the momentum. Like you said, it's hard to get that back, and 3 goals in soccer is very, very hard.
Here's a look at the last goal as we're going to be sent to break here. Anthony Ortiz sends it up, looking for either Rosano or Camardo. Camardo takes it himself, using his speed and athleticism, and just what an absolute rocket of a shot from that senior captain, as that's going to send us to break. So 3 goals, 1 from Wiley, 1 from Ortiz, and 1 for Camardo, as we're going to be dancing into halftime here. 3-0 is the score. We'll be right back at you for second half action.
Where were you? You were supposed to meet me at my locker.
I had to get my books.
Let's go.
Where are we going?
Don't worry about it.
I need to use the potty.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes, you can.
I wasn't even gone for that long.
Welcome back to Sterling TV 19 as we're back here with some second half action between the Sterling Knights and the West Deptford Eagles. Sterling winning 3-0, absolutely controlling that first half, and a very impressive showing from our Knights against a very good divisional opponent. So a great drone shot being brought from us from Johnny Orlino, and this one is off. So Ethan Whites will go and attack this defensive back line as it finds Carson Wiley. So he tries to use his head but can't. Jesus Blanco looking to control as he goes down. So here's the first goal of the game off of a nice corner kick, and it trickles out to the right. Carson Wiley gets a piece of it, and it really just fortunately bounces into the back of the net for the Knights, and that is one of the first ones of the game. And as an unfortunate injury, this would be Jesus Blanco, one of the captains in this Sterling back line, really good defensive midfielder. So we're going to look here at the second goal.
This is the second goal here. It comes in from a corner, a lower one, and he gets headed in by Ortiz. His second in 2 games on goals. Just loved it.
And it's crazy, Anthony Ortiz plays in that back line all the time, and it's very impressive that he has 2 goals in these past 2 games. So we're checking in on Jesus Blanco here. Gets up under his own strength, and he seems to be all right, definitely just a little winded. And here's the same play. As we mentioned, a nice corner. Trickles over to Anthony Ortiz and just smartly uses his head to get that one in for the Knights. As he tells us he loves us and loves the people at home. It makes this one a 2-0 game. So West Deptford getting set to kick this one off, and here is the third goal, the last one of that first half.
So dangerous play down there. The refs want, or West Deptford want to call. Ortiz kicks it up. Camardo puts a foot on it. He's just going to take it himself. He's going to dribble it to the outside here, and he's just going to use his pure athleticism and pure speed and a bullet of a shot. Lower right half corner of the net. Great play by Camardo and a great celebration there by him as well.
So what you guys missed in this past couple seconds is West Deptford with a free kick from around the center field finds a sea of Sterling blue bodies, but it got bobbled around for a second, but they cleared us. And a bit of a miscommunication in the truck there by Matt, our replay guys. We're going to look at a couple of nice saves by first. Travis Schmid makes a nice grab here with a couple of West Deptford guys around him. About 4 white shirts around him. Makes a nice save, and as we're going to look again here, another nice save by Travis Schmid. One-on-one with the defender, gets a hand on it. And that was one where the game really could have shifted, but Travis Schmid being there was the big difference maker. And as Sterling, miscommunication in that back line with another nice save by Travis Schmid. So another big star in this game, really showing out for the Knights in this 3-0 contest against West Deptford. And it's been tough for West Deptford to get things started for that reason. And that's number 6, Josh Bruner, who has 2 goals and 4 points in this contest, or not in this contest, but in this season, kicking that one. So this one will be kicked away by Ant Ortiz. Raises the arms and sends this one in the middle, looking for Jason Camardo. Camardo bounces it up, tries to find Connor Maynor. Connor Maynor using his speed and gets the ball there first and has some room to work with on the outside. Maynor on the outside looking to cross it in with a nice cross, but definitely a bit too hard as that one goes straight out of bounds.
Another great chance there from Sterling, and I definitely think I can confidently say one more goal would put this one to bed for Sterling. Right now it's up in the air, but Maynard doing his best there, just too high on the cross and a little too wide as well. But it's great to see Sterling playing a little bit of offense, while mostly they're going to be focusing on defense in the second half and controlling the game.
Connor Maynor playing with some confidence on the outside there, using his speed and athleticism to get to that ball before the West Deptford defense. And West Deptford with an opportunity here to push up in the open field, but Dean Collins quickly there. But a foul is called on number 22, Carson Wiley. Has one of the goals in this game for Sterling, and we're going to take another look at that on replay.
Looks like it was body to body there, and I can't quite tell on the replay if he extended his arm or not, or if he just used body, but nonetheless, refs say he extended the arm, so great chance for West Deptford here to try to crawl back in a little bit.
And if you're a ref, that's one of those that you definitely have to be careful about, because Sterling being up 3-0, I mean, West Deptford's going to start complaining for some calls there, and I mean, that's one where it's definitely 50-50. It's a quick kick trying to catch Travis Schmidt off guard, does not prevail, and Travis Schmidt with a very routine save.
I mean, he's been unfazed all game, hasn't he? Everything that's come by him, he's just been composed, cool, calm, and collected. Practically a brick wall. It feels that way anyway. They've gotten nothing past him, and I doubt they will.
As Max Bleem sends that one deep towards Rosano. Rosano trying to use his physicality to get that one, and does, as he's on the outside trying to look in. And a nice save there by Lamparelli. And I mean, this freshman going against these Sterling offense, this Sterling offense, definitely one of the harder ones in the conference, if not South Jersey, doing a really good job trying to stand on his head here today for West Deptford.
Dan, much like the Lindenwold game, I think we could see this as it starts getting down here in the second half. And right now it's still early in the second half, so not so much now, but towards later in the second half, I could see more physicality from West Deptford. Maybe a couple more pushes and shoves trying to get the benefit of the calls and no calls and get the ball back in their zone. Could definitely see that happening again today.
Jesus Blanco looking deep towards Camardo. Camardo trying to sky this one in towards Connor Maynor. Connor Maynor looking to spin off his defender, but can't, as that's a nice play by West Deptford to quickly clear that one out of harm's way. Max Bleem trying to keep it in here for Sterling, but West Deptford kicks it away. That was number 6, Josh Bruner. As offsides is called on West Deptford. Not very happy with the call as number 7, Jackson Kuhn. But nevertheless, refs say he was past the defense, as we're going to take another look at. Yep, that is offsides.
Yeah, it's blatant, isn't it?
Well, he was adamant that he wasn't offsides, and his coach looked over and said you were off. So.
And Ortiz taking his time. Coach Marley's sending orders over to Jesus Blanco. Coach Marley's just captured his 200th win on Monday against Lindenwold. So very big congratulations to him. Done a great job with this program in the couple of years that he's been here. Also was the head coach for the softball team for a very brief stint and had a very good job there, as they had a lot of winning culture when he was there.
I mean, I think no matter the sport, Marley's has just composure as a coach. He knows what he's talking about. The tactics that he has aren't about the sport itself, but about how to manage yourself and how to work with people.
I mean, I think that goes for all the coaches here at Sterling. No matter what sport you go through softball with Abbott, baseball with Mr. Kozaneski, Marley's for soccer, Barringer for basketball, Miss McDonald for basketball. You go around, any coach you point out here, they have great skills. They teach the kids. They have great winning programs. We're very lucky with the group of coaches we have here at Sterling.
Marley's definitely one of the best, though. Definitely preaches on managing the game and managing yourself, and preaches on professionalism out there at all times and behind a screen and social media and stuff like that. As there is a call inside the box. And that one was definitely in the box, and this is a big, big moment for West Deptford to try and get one on the board.
Dan, this I want to say is it. If they don't put this in, momentum could be lost for them. This is the most momentum they've had going into this game, and this is the best chance they've had all game.
Absolutely huge. We're going to take another replay at this big foul. That's a one that I don't know if I would call this deep in the game, in the box, this big of a moment. I don't know what I would do.
Listen, Dan, after the last broadcast, I'm one to critique the refs. That is a bad call.
Okay, Connor. I don't think we could say all that. They do go back and watch these broadcasts, so we do have to be careful on what we say. The refs do their job. The refs are humans, and all humans aren't perfect. Even if we don't agree with it, they saw something that we didn't see on the other side of the field. So Nick Cartman getting ready to take this one for West Deptford. 5 goals, 13 points on the season so far for the senior forward. Nick Hartman against Travis Schmid. Travis Schmid doing a great job thus far this season, only allowing around 3 to 4 goals.
What's the point? Relax.
As we're waiting for the whistle, Schmid and Hartman are ready. As the whistle sounds, Hartman going in. And he scores! Schmid gets a hand on it. Shot was too good. Hartman with his 6th of the season. It's a 3-1 game.
Well, Dan, that was a big chance for them, and they capitalized on it. I mean, Schmidt really did a good job here, though.
Definitely going to be one he's going to kick himself about later into this game, as that one was definitely savable. Got his hands on it, definitely read what Hartman was doing, but just couldn't get the grasp on it, and that makes it a 2-goal game here for West Deptford, and definitely one that they needed to get some momentum on their sides.
It was just, unfortunate deflection, isn't it? The angle's tough. Boost up into the corner. That goes any other way, that's out. The hands on it, it's best effort you can put in there.
I wouldn't quite say momentum has fully switched sides from Sterling to West Deptford, but it's slowly creeping up. Sterling still controls this game up 2 goals. They're playing their game. Like I said earlier, West Deptford has to play Sterling's game now. They need one more to maybe see momentum fully switch.
Sterling definitely has to be careful on both sides of the ball here to not let up any turnovers, that being one of them from Weitzel. Bright John and Delaney on the outside. Delaney getting the step, and Bright John having to commit a foul, and the whistle blows. So Sterling defense getting a little too ticky-tacky here towards the end, or towards this second half. And that definitely is a foul, as Anthony Ortiz trying to plead the case as the captain.
Coming from behind there, anytime you're going to go and show a little intent at the ball, but more going to stop the guy from the momentum he has, refs are going to call it every time. Whether they can see it or they can't, they see a body hit the floor. Here it is again. John running stride for stride with Delaney. Yeah, he catches the left leg of Caleb Delaney there. This is another huge chance for West Deptford. Not as good as the last one, but
still a big one.
Nick Hartman, nonetheless, can still capitalize here.
So we saw this towards the end of the Lindenwold game as well. Sterling defense starting to let up a few penalties and mistakes, and that's really impacted them in a negative way. Lindenwold got a goal out of it. West Deptford already has a goal out of it and has the chance to get a second one here. So it looks like Hartman again is going to take this one for West Deptford. Already has a goal, just scored the most previous one. He takes the shot, trickles through, and just goes wide. So a mistake definitely didn't hurt the Knights there. That was a really nice kick, but it just trickles out, and it just remains a 3-1 game.
Watching on the field here, I can see Hartman is visibly upset with something with one of his teammates here. I think this guy right here, I can't see the number on the replay, is supposed to crash to that back post, and he would have been there too. Left behind the defender. I'm not sure what the refs, if they would have called that. If they didn't, that would have a huge chance for West Deptford, and that would have been a huge goal. Looked like a little miscommunication between Hartman and the West Deptford Eagle.
So Bright John taking out of the game. On that far side goes in Wesley Reich, another speed demon for this Sterling defense. So a little bit more on the inexperienced side. And now, after that foul, I would like to say that this Sterling defense is a bit on its toes a little bit more against this West Deptford offense.
Yeah, Dan, I don't know if you're noticing this, but I'm hearing a lot more chatter on the West Deptford side and a lot more talking than we were the first half. Don't know if that's something head coach Michael Carmody preached at halftime, but it's certainly working, as the ball side possession has definitely switched, and West Deptford's been on our side way more than the first half, just in this first 11 minutes.
Sterling defense having a couple problems kicking that one out, but you can kick yourself to our YouTube account, Sterling TV 19, and so it'll be live updates from games, live games, commercials, and Castle Connections. A very important one from Jared Claiborne about the school and back to school night last night, so make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube account, Sterling TV 19, as this game gets resumed after a kick from Travis Schmid. And as West Deptford continues to put the pedal to the metal against Sterling, Connor Maynard coming up to play more of a midfield role as it finds Weitzel. Weitzel tries to sky it towards Rosano. Rosano has to leg it out here with the West Deptford defenders. He has 2 on him. as he causes a turnover towards Maynor. Maynor in the middle, trying to kick it towards Camardo, and it's a bit of a tackle, no call, but play on, the ref says, as Camardo has it on the outside. Camardo over towards Weitzel. Weitzel gets another tackle as well, and no calls called on either of them, although that one did look like it was all ball. That was a really nice tackle there, as West Deptford changes momentum and starts to kick it forward. Tries to find Hartman. Hartman against Collins. Tries to put a move on Collins. Does. Hartman has a shooting lane. Takes a shot. And a nice save by Travis Schmid. The brick wall stays strong. Keeps it a 3-1 game.
Beautiful play by Schmidt. Huge opportunity from Hartman here, and that's exactly the same spot Camardo did, that lower right corner, and Schmidt just got his left hand on it just enough to keep it out of the back of the net and keep Sterling with momentum.
Schmid skies it towards Camardo. Camardo already has a goal in this game after a really nice goal towards the end of the first half.
I do like, Dan, the refs are letting them play a little bit more, as we can see a lot more physical. Oh, right as I say that.
Right as you say it. There's the
jinx.
Connor jinx. Very unfortunate. It did look like Camardo did get more of the body, I must say. No, but he did. It's definitely a good call on the refs. Listen, here at Sterling Channel 19, we are a Sterling channel, but we got to keep it unbiased when we can. And I just have to say that was a nice call by the ref. Did give a little bit too much of a shove on that West Deptford offense. So that one is awarded towards Sterling. Looks like Yasser Albez is going to be checking in the game here for Sterling. The senior's first minutes in this home stand. Didn't get in at all during Lindenwold, but definitely going to see some action here against West Deptford.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a great opportunity for him. These are valuable minutes. Still up two goals with roughly about 27, 30 minutes left to go, around that range, unofficially. So these are great minutes for him, and maybe Sterling's trying to see if they have something off the bench coming into this real big stretch of the season they have coming up here.
Anthony Ortiz fires one deep. Nice head by West Deptford defense as Jesus Blanco quickly meets West Deptford in the middle.
Another player who played some good minutes today was Pat Carroll. He came in early in that first half. He also played at Haddonfield, so it's been in every other game where he's been getting in and getting valuable minutes as a senior off the bench, which is always good for the depth of this program.
Subs comes on as Jesus Blanco charges a turnover on the West Deptford side as Yasser Albez comes on for Sterling, and number 2 Sawyer Lyons comes on for number 6 Josh Bruner.
I know I was, saying a lot that, this defense from Sterling that first half was a brick wall, and Schmid was a brick wall all within himself. I really feel like West Deptford's really trying to find that inner Kool-Aid man at this point, because they're trying to break through, and they already have once. It's like we had discussed before. They had to have been talking about, quit being comfortable and play it, whole 80 minutes and whatever else gets added. You can't let up stuff.
I think for Sterling, it's important that they limit the mistakes in this defensive line, and it happened towards the end of that Lindenwold game where a few mistakes and a couple of questionable calls is really what got into their heads and started allowing some more pressure onto Schmid. But luckily, Travis Schmid, one of the better goalies in the conference, one of the better goalies in South Jersey, stands on his head most of the time, making a lot of clutch saves in the box.
All right, Dan, I'll say it. Best goalie in the state.
Whoa.
Bold. Very bold.
Bold statement. I'll stick true
Bold
to
statement. He does have a really nice frame and definitely has the hops for it. I mean, knowing his basketball journey, he is a very athletic kid. So that does help his case a little bit there, Connor. But, the whole state, those North Jersey players are very, very good at what they do.
I will take Travis out of them.
So a corner kick being awarded here to Sterling. Sterling scoring on 2 corner kicks this far this game and 2 corner kicks last game. So corner kicks definitely something that Sterling is good at and has been good at for the past couple years. As Weitzel raises the hands, fires one in, trying to find a Sterling head. It's a really nice ball. Jesus Blanco trying to make a touch. Doesn't get enough on it.
Kicked it out. Jose, help him, please. That's your angle.
And it looks like that's getting awarded to Sterling. We're going to look at a replay here. We need this. That's a weird call, man.
I don't know quite what they saw. Maybe they saw something different.
Yeah.
We are a little farther from the vantage point that they are
We
at.
just got a nice replay from Mr. K, and Jesus Blanco
Definitely
kicked
looks
that
like
one out.
Blanco
So
kicked
Blanco
that one.
fires that one in, looking for another head, but that one stays out. And I guess you could say ball don't lie with that one because that was a very questionable call as Weitzel looks for Ortiz. Sterling has to get back a little bit here, but a nice save by Lamparelli keeps that one out, and Sterling retreats back to their original spot. So we're going to take another look at that sequence just a few moments ago. A nice attempt by Yasser Albez, the senior. Does not go in. A nice slide tackle there by Carson Wiley as he's very amped up.
That is a beautiful play by Carson Wiley. Keep the pressure on West Deptford. We are in their zone right now. This is where defenders need to push up and keep it. This is something you really would like to see from Sterling early on in the season, is in these games where it's getting closer, they can control tempo and keep it on our side more than it goes to theirs.
And that's something I admire about Carson Wiley. Always keeps that intensity up, always keeps that fire. And that was a big moment for him and Sterling to try and get some momentum coming back, because right now it feels as West Deptford is kind of controlling the energy of this game.
Doesn't matter whatever sport you're in. You could be up 7-0, you could be up 4-0, 1-0. The intensity needs to be the same, 110% every time you're on the field.
Son of Clint Wiley, gym teacher here at Sterling, and lacrosse coach, is West Deptford making their way up, as that's a nice ball, but a good clearance by that Sterling defense. Our boys lacrosse team having a lot of success here at Sterling. It's been division champions 3 out of the 4 years that I've been here at Sterling. Has a lot of success these past couple years, especially with Jake Spiritoso, but he's graduated, so now they're relying on Wiley and Mikey Tully to really be one of the big guys here for the program.
I know you had talked about it before, but I want to bring it up again because it's gotten more apparent. It's a lot of chatter player to player at West Deptford that just wasn't there. No communication in that first half. They've hammered home with it to start it out this one.
It's a nice play by Sterling defense to prevent the corner, because that one was going out, but a quick heads-up decision that causes a throw-in instead of the corner. So it looks like the 2 seniors, Jason Camardo and Bright John, are ready to check back in for the Knights, as a dangerous throw-in gets cleared out very nicely by the Sterling defense, which causes West Deptford to reset.
Good to see Bright John checking back in this one. He can definitely keep the pressure on West Deptford from that defensive side and use the speed and push up the field for Sterling.
Yasser Albez kicks this one up, looking for Connor Maynard. A bit of a physical play by number 17, Michael Walsh. But Yasser Albez with another great play, and ever since he's checked into this game, has had a few good plays as Camardo and John check back into this game, along with Josh Bruner for West Deptford, as Ethan Weitzel and Max Bleem look to be checking out. And so does number 7, Jackson Kuhn.
You got 2 real speedy guys swapping spots for each other, Max Bleem and Bright John. Both of them for different things, but they both come with that electric speed that every team wants. That's big for Coach Marley to be able to do that anytime during the game that he wants.
And, you know, I do have to tip my cap a little bit to Coach Marley's here. That was a really good substitution, taking Jason Camardo in a time where the game is almost at a lull, and putting him back in for probably the next 20 minutes in the second half to conserve his energy a little bit and have your best goal scorer out there when you need him the most. So that was a good coaching decision by Coach Marley's.
Camardo's a guy you don't see hit the bench very often. You see him, he's got great endurance, he's out in the field. You would love for him to play the whole 80 minutes, but unfortunately not many guys can. And great, like you just said, for Marley's to get him out where it was in a terrible spot of the game where it was not much action on each side, not many goals were happening there. So that's a big play by Marley's there. Get fresh legs out in the field now, and it's his leading goal scorer as well, which is a great thing.
So we're unofficially nearing the halfway point of this second half. Sterling still leading 3-1, and Quentin Rosano has it in the corner, crossing it towards the middle, but a nice defensive play by West Deptford, but it does result in a corner kick. So we're going to take a replay at that. Quentin Rosano using his speed to go to the outside, and that's a great defensive play to keep that one out of harm's way. But it does result in the corner kick where Sterling is most dangerous, Jesus Blanco being the man to take it.
Really nice ball from Rosano there as well. I think if that West Deptford defender doesn't crash that quickly there, that's a goal for Connor Maynard easily.
So a little bit over halfway now unofficially. Sterling leading 3-1, results of goals from Anthony Ortiz, Carson Wiley, and Jason Camardo. As Jesus Blanco hits that one towards the back, trying to find maybe Camardo, but now West Deptford has some room with only 2 defenders back. Quentin Rosano, nice play from the back, and nice play from Yasser Albez to really stop that momentum as it finds Blanco, and Blanco just skies it deep.
Huge.
And Lamparelli makes a nice grab.
Sorry to cut you off there, Dan, but a huge play by Rosano and Albez. They had way numbers coming down. I saw about 5 West Deptford guys against 2 Sterling defenders, and anybody with decent math can tell you that's going to go West Deptford's favor. So, huge play by Rosano, and I could tell Marley's was very amped up about that play from him.
That was a good hustle play by Quentin Rosano.
Great hustle play.
Yeah.
He's been the hustle of this team, I feel like. He's gotten down there. He's making the defensive stops. He's getting, down in the dirt with the defensive plays. You love to see it.
And you don't see him on the stat sheet for goals. You see him on the stat sheets for assists, which is arguably a better stat. That means he's feeding and he's making plays without using his playmaking himself. He has a great playmaking ability. He's a hustle player. He's just doing everything right that a soccer team needs.
Quentin Rosano doing a really good job in this game thus far as the senior gets another opportunity to take this one deep. Quentin Rosano gets a rough touch. West Deptford does keep up with him, though, and take it away from him as he does get a bit of a rough touch on that one. And that one's coming right for me, so I try and keep that away, but I don't know how good I did there. Try to put my foot out. I'm not really sure what that hit.
It's a rough first touch by Leakin here.
Yeah, it seems like we're all right, though. And there's us over here on the booth. I'm Daniel Leakin, joined by Connor Warrington and Max Zubak here for this great broadcast here on this Wednesday afternoon. It's Wesley Reich getting ready to throw this one in. Kind of skies it, but it gets hit towards Blanco as that one gets called for a hand pass.
You're going to see this next 15 minutes to 18 minutes of play, not sure unofficially our time here, is as you see there, Blanco takes a kick and West Deptford grabbed it midair after the whistle. They're going to try to have as much time as possible. You're going to see a quick pace of soccer from West Deptford and maybe a little slower from Sterling.
And it looks like Marley's getting ready to substitute Rafael Sanchez Bautista. Came into the game for a couple minutes against Lindenwold, but not much, and definitely not in this high-pressure situation for Sterling. But Marley's relying on one of his young freshmen to really pick up the pace here for Sterling for some fresh legs. As that one gets skied in deep, George Walters the first on it, along with West Deptford defender Michael Walsh. Walsh doing a good job of trying to keep Sterling away from these past couple deep crossers in. As Rosano and Walters switch as that one gets crossed towards the middle, but that one hit out. And Sterling's right side of their field with Rosano and Walters doing a really good job of generating a couple corner kicks here for the Knights.
I know that, we had discussed this before, but I feel like even though it gets hit out there, it's gorgeous accuracy from Hugh there with the cross, and they've been constantly on this right wing trying to attack from there, get the cross in, I'd assume, from Rosano, and just get someone to head it in, maybe Camardo for his second of the day. That might be the goal.
Blanco fires this one towards the middle. Really nice kick. Finds the head of Bright John, can't do anything with it. Another fired, and it's just wide. Blanco fires it back in. Anthony Ortiz is on the ground here for the Knights as the whistle blows. As he may have gotten hit in the head, so this one definitely may take a minute.
Definitely an automatic stoppage.
Yep. So water breaks here for both teams as we all hope Anthony Ortiz is okay. One of the senior leaders for this team.
Good to see him get back up to his feet there.
Definitely has to take his time a little bit though. One of the senior leaders for this team has 2 goals in the past 2 games here for the Knights. So he does have a little bit of a limp as he's walking it off, but seems okay. It gets physical in those scrums after the corner kicks. So Anthony Ortiz just caught the bad brunt end of it.
I'm not sure, but I do believe since the refs ruled it a head injury, he has to step out for at least a little bit and get checked out. And that is exactly what's going to be happening for him.
So Anthony Ortiz gets subbed out.
You hate to see a captain.
And it looks like Weitzel comes back into the game for the Knights.
You hate to see a captain, especially, but any player, get hit in the head like that. He was making an effort for a diving header. Take a look here.
As we take another look from the drone angle, as we take a look. Ooh, yeah, it looks like he just got caught a little bit from a West Deptford defender. Completely unintentional.
I don't know if that was definitely, I don't know if it was a head injury. I don't want to assume.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was either. The
looks
ref
more
said
like a
head
leg.
injury. Looks more like a leg. I'm with you on that one, Connor.
But nonetheless, unfortunate break for Sterling because they ruled it head injury. Has to step off the field.
Yeah, so Anthony Ortiz trying his quickest to stretch it out, but nevertheless, the show must go on here for Sterling as they put out Ethan Weitzel. And now that back line is consisting of Jesus Blanco, Wesley Reich, Dean Collins, and Bright John. Blanco coming back from his original midfield position to try and substitute the Ortiz spot at the center back. So Bautista with the pressure downfield. West Deptford trying to look for a hole in this defense and midfield, but Ethan Weitzel greets the West Deptford defender. That was number 4, Kevin Bassett, moving up. Wesley Reich with a nice play, using his speed to get there. And that will be a possession of West Deptford.
It really feels like they're trying to play out the back West Deptford because they're getting pressed back there. Their only hope is to shoot a bomb out there, get it through, make the offense do something. It's their only hope because they're past the halfway mark at this point in the second half. They're still down 2. They've got to keep pressure, don't they?
And ever since that little glitch at the start of the second half, Sterling has done a much better job of staying disciplined on this defensive line after a few mistakes caused a bunch of chances for Nick Hartman, who does have a goal in this game as Anthony Ortiz is getting subbed back on the field. So definitely fortunate to see him coming back as Jesus Blanco takes his original position, probably back up at the midfield position, and Anthony Ortiz will move back. Few pushing and shoving is resulting in a Sterling corner kick. So they got to get one here. Hartman looks to like to be the one to take it, as West Deptford getting ready to crowd the box with only 3 people back and 1 at the edge. Excuse me, 2 people back and 1 at the edge as that one gets crossed in. Bit of a bad crosser there for West Deptford, completely missed the box, and Sterling getting ready to turn it back the other way, or at least trying to. Hartman on that edge, trying to put a move on a defender, does. Trying to look for a shot, takes one, but it was weak. And Travis Schmid with the easy save.
That's felt like a common theme with their shots, West Deptford, hasn't it? It's just been very weak and not confident in their strength. And I feel like that's what's been getting them wins, is getting into the box and confidently.
And the guys are definitely tired. It's very hot outside. The weather still probably staying at a stagnant 82 degrees when we first checked. Now still at the 82-degree mark. And the sun is still beating down on the soccer field, where fortunately we are in the shade here in the booth, or excuse me, on the table. Not necessarily in the booth here. Sterling TV 19, thank you all for coming in. I'm Daniel Leakin, joined by Connor Warrington and Max Zubak here for this big divisional rival between Sterling and West Deptford. Looks like the JV game just got finished up behind us as Coach Behringer and his players walk over towards the bench. And the Sterling is getting ready to progress up the field.
And Dan, that can help. I mean, people don't look into that, but when the JV guys come up and they're cheering on for the varsity guys and it gets on, they can get louder. They can really provide some energy for a team that's, with this next 13 minutes, these guys are gassed, as Max pointed out. So those kids that are coming up to watch, they need to provide some energy for these guys.
So Schmid with a bit of a rough kick out, but it results in West Deptford not getting the right communication, and they hit it out as well. So Rosano and Maynard check back into this game, 2 speedsters. Depending who comes out for Sterling, they will have their original starting lineup back up on the field, and they do. So this will probably be the team we're going to see for the rest of the game. Everything stays the same.
It's a great job by Coach Marley's to make sure he has fresh legs out there, and now he has his best guys. He's got his best 11 here for the next 10 minutes or so.
One of the biggest fields in South Jersey, so it's important to keep those fresh legs. And I think after a couple years here, 200 wins, Coach Marley's is aware about how big this field is and how important it is to keep these legs fresh. And he also played here, so he does understand that from a player's perspective as well. So West Deptford in that defensive line, trying to get some offense going. Sterling doing a good job of keeping that shut down as long as they could. Other than a few mistakes in that defensive line, they've been almost picture perfect thus far. Rosano plays it back towards Weitzel. Weitzel has a few moments and skies it deep, trying to find Rosano again, but Rosano, big gas in this game, so Kevin Bassett has a second to survey the field and makes a nice pass. West Deptford passing it up, but Weitzel doing a great job of fending him off. And Weitzel gets possession of the ball, passes it towards Camardo. Camardo been a little bit quiet here in the second half, not as much offense as there has been defense for the Knights. And that one trickles through between Ortiz. A costly mistake here as West Deptford pushes forward, shot in the goal, and it's wide. Hartman shoots it wide. A costly mistake. Fortunate for Sterling that one did not go in. Between the legs of Ant Ortiz, Schmid came out to play it, and it took a bad bounce. It's still 3-1.
And that is a big play that's going to go unnoticed by Dean Collins. He takes away the angle that Hartman was looking for and made him take that shot from a little bit farther out than where he probably wanted to. Great hustle play by Collins.
As Hartman had a ton of opportunities in this game, that being one of the biggest to help West Deptford get back in this game with about 10 minutes left unofficially. So we're going to take another angle from it. Man, that was close. Wow.
Another miscommunication by the defense, but like I just said, Dean Collins made up for it pretty bigly there by coming in and cutting off the angle that Hartman was looking for.
It's something that as defenders on Sterling, you let that go through, even if the goal is in there. You gotta hate to see it as a defender, you know. Just letting stuff like that in, in your mind, it's gotta be unacceptable.
So Sterling still working in this defensive side. So they're trying to call for an offsides here. Gets crossed into the middle. A nice shot. That one goes out. So Carson Wiley checking back into this game here for the Knights as he subs out Ethan Weitzel. Ethan Weitzel is looking a little shaken up in this game ever since that ankle injury before, and that's where he's looking at right now.
And Dan, I think there was a couple missed plays here. That was definitely offsides there, and then clearly offsides from Delaney crashing in on the back half there. And I believe that's what goaltender Travis Schmidt was just trying to preach to the ref is, hey, you got to help me out a little bit.
So that
that's about 10 feet off.
is offsides. Yes, I do agree with that. That one is definitely a missed one.
And that's a big one because so here he is with the ball here. Offsides is where they play it. Plays it here, and
he's a step off there. Well, I mean, obviously we're not as precise as some of these bigger leagues like FIFA and the World Cup, but I think if you VAR that, it does look like he is a step, basically a step off, just a tiny bit.
What's open? We got more numbers there.
Another
We're
look
take
at
another
it.
look at it though.
Slow look at it here. It's from where the ball is played, and there's a back defender, Collins. He's on sides.
Yeah, that is true. I was focusing on Bright John. You are right about that back defender, Collins.
That's on me. I missed that.
We apologize here at Sterling Channel 19. I mean, I was the one saying not to critique the refs earlier, and that's the first thing I did. So we do make mistakes here. Unfortunately, we're not perfect either, and that's a great call by the refs to keep that one going.
I wasn't zoning in on Collins there. He was a few steps behind John. He held him on there.
Definitely close, though.
And clips like that, though, show how you need to be a line of defense, not a scramble of defense and stuff like that. You need to be as precise as you can with positioning, because then mistakes like that can happen, and that can be considered onside. When any other positioning, that's offside by a mile. That's the example of offside if that man isn't there.
Thank you to John Urolino for giving us the beautiful drone shot there.
Yes, John Urolino doing a great job subbing in for Casey Kaz as we take a nice shot here. Coach Marley's definitely one of the biggest schemers of the game. He's coached for a while, played for a while. Definitely very successful here at Sterling again as he captured his 200th win against the Lindenwold Lions this past Monday.
Unofficially about 7 minutes to go here. This is where West Deptford's going to have their last chances, and they're going to have to put one in the next couple minutes to have any shot at getting two.
Sterling doing a good job of keeping the pressure down, again, especially with Travis Schmidt not having as much action in the second half as he did in that first. If Sterling holds on, we will have a post-game interviewing some of the goal scorers and anyone that we can get from the Sterling Knights team, because everyone has had an excellent game for the Sterling team. So there was a whistle blown, definitely a little physical against Connor Maynor. So Sterling will be awarded the free kick, definitely going on to take their time, trying to tick as many minutes off this clock as they can.
It's a good contest too, isn't it? He draws in some contact and a foul from that, and he's still on the ball most of that time. It's great defending.
So Sterling kicks it in. Lamparelli with a nice play and trying to pick up the tempo is Lamparelli, and this West Deptford team is getting ready to push forward. So Quinn Rosano tries to come from the back and makes a nice defensive play, but West Deptford still trying to regroup as the pressure is getting put on by the Sterling attackers. Quentin Rosano being the one. Carson Wiley gets past him, and Reich skies it towards Maynor. Connor Maynor with a nice head, and Lamparelli has the opportunity to make another catch, but they do have to keep it going. Lamparelli ready to sky it. That's a nice kick towards the middle, but it does find the leg of Max Bleem, but it does deflect off of a West Deptford player.
As you can hear on our field mic here, head coach Michael Carmody is letting his team know this is it. We need to push up right now or this one's over.
Quentin Rosano almost with an opportunity as he lets that one go. Will be awarded possession for Sterling.
And you're going to see a lot of time-wasting maneuvers from the Knights here. They're going to be a lot of kicking, trying to put it in the corners and let the clock run out here. Unofficially about 5 minutes to go in this one. West Deptford's going to be really trying to push tempo here.
If you are West Deptford, it's got to be a matter of, you got to start a high press and a high attack now, because if you don't right now, it might be too little too late to get two back.
Well, Max, you can no longer play your game if you're West Deptford here. You have to start playing just, honestly, it's a kick and run, and you have to hope something goes your way. It's getting late, down 2. If you're down 1, you play more of a clean, controlled game, but this is where you need to just hope something breaks your way.
It's a matter of kick and rush and counterattack. That's what they have to rely on. Like you had said, if it's 1 goal down, they can be a little more passing. They can be a little more of try to get it through the gaps, but you can't. You got to run it down.
This Sterling defensive line today is making game-saving plays and goal-saving plays. Another great play by Collins a couple plays ago right there.
Called on Connor Maynor, so it does give Sterling the opportunity to have a free kick here as we're going to take another look at that one. Gets a little bit of the arm, hooks it down a little bit. And I do agree with you, Connor, it was an amazing play by Dean Collins. Sterling does a really good job of timing their slide tackles when they need them. They don't do them very often, but when they do, Dean Collins and Max Bleem are two people I can think of that really perfect it.
Yeah, and I mean, Dean's not a guy you'll see pop up on the stat sheet, but he's the unsung hero. I mean, that back line, you don't see him. I mean, although you do see Bright John and Anthony Ortiz this year from the goals, but Dean is really a pillar of this team on defense. Plays the game the right way. He plays hard, plays for the team, and he makes beautiful game-saving plays like that. Remember at Lindenwold Day on Monday? I said the same thing. He slid here, kept it on his own. Another massive play from Collins.
So West Deptford looking to kick this one off with about, I would say, 3 minutes unofficially left in the second half, about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. A big moment for West Deptford, trying to get it in the box. A nice kick from Hartman. Trickles a little bit before, a bit of a bounce, and it goes out wide. But it is awarded a corner kick for West Deptford, so Hartman trekking his way down the field. He will be the one to take it. The leading scorer on this West Deptford team and the only person to score in this game off of a penalty shot. Looking to kick this one away for West Deptford. Sterling has to get their gathering together quick, and so does West Deptford, as they only have one up. And that's a nice play by Travis Schmid to grab it. Almost a game-sealing grab right there, or not game-sealing, but game-saving, excuse me. Two very different things. It's Travis Schmid using his IQ to get down immediately and take his sweet old time kicking this one away.
It's the second time this game he's just had free reign to jump up and grab opportunities like that from out of nowhere. It's hard to contain a keeper that can do things like that for your team.
So Reich getting ready to send this one away. He does. That's a great play by Reich to clear that one out as quick as he can. Sterling applying the pressure in this midfield. Rosano does a great job of coming down from that attacker spot, and Jesus Blanco kicks that away for Jason Camardo and gets a little fancy with it, getting that one to Quentin Rosano. Camardo telling Rosano to lead him. Camardo trying to use that speed to get to it. That's a nice play by West Deptford to keep him away.
And these last couple minutes here, we don't know because of the stoppages how many it is. Unofficially, it's 2 minutes, but I believe it's a little more because of the Anthony Ortiz stoppage. So this is it for West Deptford. They're going to get their best offensemen on the field, their best attackers, and they're going to try to push tempo and try to catch Sterling sleeping here.
Something we learned from last game is we're not going to talk too much about the time because we do not know how official ours is compared to some of the refs. So we're just going to let the game play out, and when that final whistle blows, we know it'll be over.
Yeah, we were about 10 minutes off on that one.
So Bright John on the outside, Dean Collins trying to make a nice play, and that one hits off of a West Deptford offense. That's a nice heads-up play. Looked like from Ann Ortiz. Ann Ortiz with a very smart play, hitting that one right off of West Deptford, causing a goal kick from Schmid.
It's the IQ that gets you the captain band, isn't it?
Yeah, and the leadership. Anthony Ortiz definitely brings that leadership into the locker room day in and day out. One of the biggest hardcore soccer fans I know. Great dude, and the definition of a student athlete in his classes as well. Doing a great job this game this far. Has a goal, and doing a great job in that back line on defense. As Camardo with a really nice pass towards Weitzel, and Weitzel has green grass ahead of him. Weitzel on the outside, looking for Rosano in the crosser. Can't get him, tries to put a move on a defender, retreats back, trying to kick it back so he can go get it. And applies great pressure, and that's a ball awarded to Sterling.
And that's a great break there by Ethan Weitzel to push it down in the corner, let time rot away, and now Sterling set up for a decent, like I said before, these throw-ins can really be corners if you have a guy who can put it in the box, and Bleem has a very strong throw.
That one gets kicked out by West Deptford, but it gets back to Carson Wiley. Wiley looking to just take a shot on net. And that was a really accurate shot, but a nice save by Lamparelli as they're trying to pick up the pace as quick as they can. But Carson Wiley coming in with the intensity like a bull.
Huge play by Carson Wiley. Another guy who's been making great plays all over the field for the Knights today.
Jason Camardo looking for that big kick, but can't get it. As Lamparelli sends this one towards center field. Finds Dean Collins. Collins finds Weitzel. Weitzel to Wiley, and Wiley just kicks it forward. Camardo trying to be safe, not get any stupid penalties here as a hit is on Weitzel, and that one is awarded to Sterling. And Sterling going to take their sweet time getting to this free kick.
You can see it in the pace they have just getting ready. Obviously, they're taking their time, but also it just shows even Sterling's a bit gassed now, too. The heat The sun beating down you, the length of the field, even if you practice with it, it still doesn't take away the fact it's a lot of energy to keep up on it.
So the whistle blows, and Ortiz getting ready to take it.
And that's why being the team that's up early is the huge thing, because you have the momentum and energy which can power through when you get that tiredness that both guys, you can see both teams look exhausted out here. It's a hot day, it's sunny, it's still not fall completely, so it's still not in the 60s and 70s, which is soccer weather. So really, you can really see exhaustion taking over, and it's just good that Sterling has a 3-1 lead, and they jumped out early, and they could use some subs early on as well.
Ortiz looked for that back post, couldn't get it, hits that one out, but not a break, but definitely a good play by Ortiz to try and just kick that one as hard as he can. Maybe result in a goal, maybe not. This one gets hit towards Dean Collins, makes a nice, smart defensive play to kick that one out, but they keep it in. West Deptford goes against Bright John, and that one definitely got a little bit of his ankle. Bright John committed a few of these rough calls in this game, and this is a big opportunity for West Deptford to try and get one more in this contest. So West Deptford looking for this free kick. Bright John not very happy with himself after that one. It's been the result of a couple bad calls as he's getting taken out of the game here for Connor Mader. Bright John kind of taking his time as he's walking off here. Definitely one of the speediest guys I know, but definitely not going too fast here.
A loss for West Deptford that I just realized is number 10, Riley Urix, who started this game playing, and he has the assist on the year. The junior has not played since the first half, and now I can see he is wearing street clothes on the side, or wearing shoes on the side. So I don't know how big of a loss that played for them today, but nonetheless, an upperclassman goes out for West Deptford today.
So Hartman ready to kick this one away. Fires it in. And good defense by Sterling. And another great play by Sterling to keep that one out. Man, that one was close, but that was a great play from that Sterling backline as they continue to reign strong. That brick wall says, not today, Kool-Aid, and keeps that one out. So we're going to take another look at a replay. Great camera angles. We're going to take a look at the second shot here. And wow, great game-saving play by Jason Camardo, creeping into that back line. Not where he's very familiar with, but still makes a great play. Camardo did a great job there.
Camardo really does it all for this team. He's back there making game-saving defensive plays. He's making beautiful goals, leads the team in goals. I mean, that's just the guy. That's why he has the captain's patch. That's exactly what Coach Pete Marley's wanted from a captain. Somebody who is not afraid to make the play, not afraid to be great.
Not afraid to be great indeed. This Sterling team putting on a great show for us here today. And this is definitely for the early lead in the division, as Connor Warrington has mentioned many, many times on this broadcast and in the last, how big this game really is for both teams. And that's a nice play by Connor Maynor, but the whistle sounds as they're telling West Deptford to really pick up the pace here. Coach from the bench, that is Coach Michael Carmody.
Just heard on Marley's under a minute.
Tempers flaring here a little bit on the defensive line with Quentin Rosano.
It could be any moment. I see both refs looking down at the stopwatch here. This is last chance effort for West Deptford to try to make one here and then get a really, really quick score. Unfortunately, Dan, I just don't see it happening.
Well, I mean, game's not over till the whistle blows, Connor, so you can never say something too early. It's a bit of pinball in this Sterling zone. A nice header by Max Bleem. And that one will do it here for the Sterling Knights as they take a very early lead in this division against West Deptford. And Coach Marley picks up his 201st win in his coaching career. Sterling with a big 3-1 victory over the Eagles.
And Dan, arguably this was a bigger win than the Lindenwold 200th win. I think Coach Marley's would agree too. This was a dominant win for the Knights today. They did everything right. They played the right game that they wanted to. Didn't get in foul trouble today either, which was a problem they had last game.
Not as much foul
Not
trouble.
as much.
Yes.
No, I didn't see a card today, which was an improvement from last game. And that's a dominant win to put the Knights at 4-0 on the year.
And a big statement win for the Knights, too, as they take down Lindenwold and take down West Deptford. So we'll be back with the postgame as Sterling prevails 3-1 over the Eagles. We'll be right back after this short break.
I could really use a bev right now.
Braden, how many times did I tell you not to bring drinks in the classroom, just water? Braden, how many times did I tell you not to bring drinks in the classroom?
Matter. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sterling TV 19 after the Knights pick up a big win over division rival West Deptford Eagles 3-1. So here, first, we have the sophomore Carson Wiley, one of the younger kids on the team. Carson, you got a goal today, and you got a goal against Lindenwold. How does this feel for you?
It feels amazing. You know, it's a new feeling scoring this year, but it feels great.
And, I mean, you bring the intensity at all times. Today it was really relevant. I mean, we saw that a lot on, defense and offense. What really, motivates you to bring that every single day?
I mean, the goal this season is winning it all, and that's my mindset every game, 0-0 and winning it all.
And if you don't mind telling us, I mean, what's something that you can fix, and what's something that you guys are looking forward to for the next game?
Winning the next game is important. Winning the next game. That's all I gotta say.
All right, thank you, Carson. I appreciate it. Next, we're gonna have Jason Camardo on the broadcast. Jason, senior captain band on. I mean, you really do it all for this team, almost like Superman. How does it feel?
I mean, I love this team, man. It was a great win. They beat us last year, obviously, one of the last games of the season, so we knew we had to come out here and take this dub, and we did.
And Jason, I mean, with an absolute screamer at the end of that second half, what was going through your head as you were shaking that shot?
Well, me and Quinn got past the defenders, and I knew I had to at least put it on target, so all I did was I shot on target, and thankfully it went in. So.
And Jason, at the end of the game, you made a nice stop on defense. I mean, was that something that you guys work on a lot, you being up there for those corner kicks, or was that something that kind of was impromptu to the moment?
I mean, usually the forwards get in the wall, but Trav only won 2 men in the wall, so I was like, all right. So I had to get back in the box, and ball came to me, and I was able to clear it. So.
And Jason, a little bit more of a fun question here for you. I mean, have you and Jesus worked on that dance celebration before?
Actually, yeah, we actually did. Me, Jesus, and I wanted Ant to get in there, but he was doing some dabbing up the defenders and stuff. So me and Jesus were finally able to get that dance done. So yeah.
All right, well, I appreciate you coming on here, Jason. Next, we're going to have Travis Schmid coming on to the broadcast. Travis, we have you here all the time. Welcome back for your first of the year. How's it feel to pick up this win against West Deptford?
I felt great. Right now, our biggest game of the year against our toughest opponent, respectfully. We needed this one. It sets us up perfectly for the rest of the way, so this was a great team win.
And a couple big saves from you there at the end of this first half and in the middle and in bits and pieces of that second half. What was going through your head throughout the game, in the net?
Yeah, I will say it. I have the best defense in the conference, and just the team in front of me, I'm seeing 3 shots a game. I'm blessed. So those 3 shots, they have my back all game, so I have to have their back.
And Trev, I mean, we talk a lot about how multi-talented this team is in terms of all their sports, and we all know you're a big basketball player. Does basketball benefit you being in the net?
Definitely. I feel like there's a lot of assets when it comes to athleticism, speed, lateral movement, the way I jump, and just the way I have to react. But yeah, no, soccer impacts basketball and basketball impacts soccer, so yeah.
I appreciate you coming on the air, Travis. Looking forward for a couple more interviews. And last, but certainly not least, another senior captain for this team, Ant Ortiz, coming on the broadcast here with me. Ant, how does it feel to take down West Deptford in this game?
It feels pretty good. Last season, we went 1-on-1, our schedule with West Deptford, because we played them twice. And the second game, obviously, we lost 4-0. So we kind of took that personally here and all that history in the back. So it feels good. It feels good.
And I mean, you're the embodiment of a student athlete. I mean, always does it in the classroom and on the field. How does that feel for you? I mean, just to have such a big win today and just such a big couple wins past Lindenwold as well and to get the season started.
Yeah, it feels great. We're all student athletes on this team. We all have our personal life and then athletic life. And it feels good to be able to win on and off the field, balance that life. So, yeah.
And, Anthony, when you went up to our camera after you scored, you gave a little heart, and you pointed to on your wrist. Does that have any significance?
Yeah, so I don't know where the camera at. So on my wrist right here, I got family, because I love my family. It's family time. my friends, they're basically my family. You know, we're a family here at Sterling. I got Columbia, where I'm from. I'll never forget. And I got my girlfriend's name, Joe, on there. So it's just everything I care about, and I'll never forget about that.
I appreciate you coming on, Anthony, and that's a great way to stop. Our next TV game will be on Friday at 6 p.m. against Camden Mastery. I'm Daniel Leakin. Thank you to Connor Warrington and Max Zubak for coming on the broadcast with me. Thank you to our phenomenal photographers and everyone on the crew for coming along today. That'll do it here at Sterling Channel 19 after Sterling picks up a 3-1 win over West Deptford. And as always, go Knights.